Good morning, everybody. Morning, morning, morning. So gorgeous. Hope you're all having a spectacular week. Got through the hump day okay, on the downhill slide into the weekend. A little bit on wellness in the workplace this morning, because I don't do that very much. And I'm pretty passionate about it. So this morning I have a question and I have a challenge. And then just a little bit of a chat at the end about a query that someone sent through to me through the week. So the question is, what does mental ill health look like? A lot of us have quite, I guess, clear or preset expectations as to what we think mental ill health is or looks like. It looks like somebody upset and crying. It looks like somebody maybe losing their temper when they might not usually. But a lot of the time, in my experience, mental ill health is actually seen more as poor behaviour. And we can be very quick to judge the person for misbehaving without necessarily understanding that there could be something unusually is underlying that. So one of the things so I guess that's my question, is have a think about what your assumptions are with regards to what mental ill health looks like. And then the challenge is, next time you see somebody misbehaving, acting up, not behaving in a manner that you think is nice or right or fair or appropriate or professional, take a pause and have a look at that person. And the question to ask yourself, not them, is this a usual pattern of behaviour for that person? That is the biggest predictor or the biggest indicator of someone who's not doing so well, is behavioural change. It might be a quiet person who becomes very loud. It might be a naturally loud kind of a person who becomes quite quiet and reserved and held back. It might be someone who usually leads conversations and is very active in a group, withdrawing from that group. So, that's the question to ask. And so the challenge is just to keep your eyes open over these next couple of days. And you can, obviously, this exists in the personal sphere as well. So the next time you see somebody behaving in a way that doesn't sit right with you, before arcing up and jumping up and meeting them at that level, keep yourself down at the level that you are at and ask yourself, is this usual for that person? Could there be something going on with them that I don't know about? Think about your own life. How often do we all have things that we're dealing with? It's life, right? So that's the question. What does mental ill health look like? And the challenge. Stop and look next time you see poor behaviour and have a think about whether there might be something going on beneath it. From that place, we can then start conversations. Are you okay? I noticed you're a little more quiet than usual. I noticed such and such. I noticed in the meeting this morning, your response to that question was a little bit different to how you usually respond. Is everything okay? Anything I can help you with? That's the place to start. Lighter note, I had a question about a couple of things. Getting people moving in the workplace a little bit and trying to make workplace meetings a little bit more interesting and engaging. There's a few different things there and I don't have a lot of context, so I will just make a general observation. One is that when trying to keep people engaged in meetings and things, having walking meetings can be quite handy. It's not always practical, but it can be handy. One thing I will caution against, though, is to be mindful that we are not exercise professionals. We don't know what health conditions people might be carrying or dealing with in the background. And so if we're going to do things like this, the focus is not physical exercise, getting the heart rate up and that kind of thing for the person. The emphasis is just on moving. And we know that moving steps, regardless of how those steps are taken, is what's good for our physical health. So if you're going to go for a walk, then I guess checking with everybody that they're all okay to do that, and keeping the pace nice and slow so that the slowest person, it's easy for them to keep up. So that's the pace that you set, is the pace of the slowest person. You don't use the language, of course, because that could be a little bit offensive. Yeah, I will talk a little bit more about that kind of thing next week. I'll have a think about some ideas for what I can suggest. But I hope that was helpful in both your workplace and in your daily life. And I hope you have a beautiful day today. And I will hop on again next week. Be well. Bye all.